Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Black Accountant. It's your boy Mo, and if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments of any kind of content you want to see going forward. Um, so, regularly on this channel, I usually talk a lot about, or even if I don't talk about it, I think I hold a strong belief in in overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges, and also not being a victim and not seeing yourself as a victim. Like I love saying that because I I hardcore believe that. Um and I think in in today's world and within my friends, within the people that I know and within just my experience in society, it's just so prevalent. It's so prevalent that people just want to see themselves as victims. And I can't even remove myself from that situation or from that train of thought because that's how I used to operate. Um, Up until high school and like the beginning of my college years, I was a quitter. I'd always find a way to kind of just blame my misfortunes and just whatever was going on with me on somebody else or some reason. Like even if I was blaming myself in a way, it low key wouldn't be. You know, when you watch a lot of these like mental health type clips on YouTube or when people talk about it a lot, it seems to be this case of just trying to identify um what problems you have and what caused them, and then just stopping there. Let me give a very clear example of that. And this, I hear it all the time. Oh, I have anxiety or whatever because my parents were this way when I was a child, or I have XYZ. Like, it's always some kind of thing where it's like, okay, you understand where it came from, but what are you doing to overcome that? What are you doing to move on from that? The whole entire point of mental health awareness isn't to provide excuses to not do things. It's literally to provide that starting point of doing work. You know, Even if you are somebody that was going to therapy, a therapist helps you work through for you to get to the root of a problem. They don't solve your problems, you just do that work. Now, when you're able to identify what's holding you back, that's when the real work begins because that's when you have to actively change from within yourself. I bring this all up just to say I've seen, or leading up to the fact that I've seen a lot of people claim struggles that are not theirs, you know. And what I mean by that is seeing all this content online that's always telling you you're a victim, you're this. If this happened to you, this is why you should be held back. Or if you're doing this, this is why it's okay to be this way now. And I think I need to provide a few more clarifying examples here. So I'm going to speak to this first one off of race. And if race is a topic that just really irks you or is something that's offensive to you or something that you can't really tolerate or sensitive as a subject, then you can tune out at this point. But um, even within the black experience, I'm a black man. But within the black experience in itself, there's such a huge range. There's from the skin tone that you have all the way to the look that you have in the background that you have all affect your experiences differently. So me in my current state, I can't come and claim the struggle of being necessarily like abused by police or the struggle of being seen as an intense threat off first sight because I don't have the general phenotypes or African phenotypes, because I look a little bit more ambiguous or I look a little bit more mixed, so I can't come and claim that that's something that affects me. I still experience police harassment. Not necessarily, I have yet to experience police brutality. Therefore, that's not something I could really speak to because that's not my experience. So be careful in the way that you approach people or talk to people or in terms of claiming struggles. And the reason this topic is coming up to me is because I was having a discussion with this person that I met out here in Chicago, right? And she had mentioned within a conversation that we were having that I have Sunni privilege, right? And I wondered what that meant. So if you don't know what Sunni is, like Sunni is a practice of Islam There's a lot of different practices. Generally, it is believed that the Sunni way is the correct way, whereas anybody that's following a different practice will believe that their way is the correct way. For me, I'm Sunni. So, and she was Shia. So, so she had mentioned that I had Sunni privilege, and I asked her, what does Sunni privilege mean? And then she was telling me that you, you don't have the struggle of being massacred for your religion. And I combated that by saying, hey, you know, I I don't have that specific struggle. My family's family does. I don't live in a country like that. You also don't live in a country like that. So I don't understand why you think that you are being persecuted. Perhaps that's something that your family may experience overseas because that's what happens in those countries. And even within that, Muslims are persecuted in almost every single country. There's discrimination in almost every single country. But I found it odd that she was claiming a struggle that didn't necessarily pertain to her and was very offended by it. And in the same way, I asked a little bit more prying questions where she had also mentioned that accommodations in terms of like an MSA, which is a Muslim student organization that would be on a campus, that they didn't provide like the headstones to pray on for Shia students. So it catered mostly to Sunni people. And I find it to be so odd that we try to find all of these little things to be offended by instead of actually addressing the issue. There's so much people pointing out issues in society and nobody pointing out solutions or working on solutions. I'm actually a big advocate and proponent of the fact that if there's a problem, yes, you should address it. Yes, you should complain about it because they say the squeaky gets squeal. Ugh, I can't even talk right now. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, but the squeaky wheel gets the oil because you're doing something about it. You know, it's not enough to just say, hey, I noticed this problem. Hey, this, and that. And I feel that this should be addressed. If you're going to address an issue, follow it with some level of action. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture, but let's go back to that same example I was just giving of not providing like the headstone to pray on, right? That's something that's compatible. If you're still a college student or even not a college student, write to the college. Figure out who's responsible for that administration. And if it's not even that complicated or convoluted, you could literally just go to the MSA and say, "Hey, I feel like we are not being accommodated for. Therefore, can you accommodate us?" It's sometimes really that simple. Just put in some level of effort to start fixing the issue instead of just complaining about the issue. Um, I would really like to do a deep dive of this in terms of race, but because this is something that's really widely debated within almost every ethnicity, but particularly within the Black space. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in, or what your thoughts are on this specific subject. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. A couple of points I kind of want to address also. I realized this microphone actually has a lot of feedback in terms of like sounding really breathy with a lot of air. I actually did purchase a new microphone recently, so I'm going to be trying to hook that up. I've been having a couple of tech issues, and also the the sound clip in my new intro actually got copyrighted, so I need to figure out or find out what other like music I could use for that. So just be aware that that's what you might hear in the beginning of either this video or just in future videos. Just want to point that out.